What's up, guys? HOA is back. Massive, massive game last night, Kenzie. We had a very competitive game. Um, hit me right now. What are your thoughts on the game? Obviously,
Well,
went your
I'm
way, so let's hear it.
I'm just glad like it wasn't a boring Super Bowl. There was like touchdowns basically every possession, field goals every possession. It was just I'm glad it wasn't a snooze fest commercial wise. To be honest, I don't remember much. Like maybe because like I'm older, but only like
Yeah.
two or three of them were even like somewhat memorable at this point. But besides that, the actual game was great.
Yeah. I mean, really, I only remember like the movie trailer commercials.
Yeah,
So like, I mean, I don't think they were bad commercials by any means. I thought, I just don't think anything blew me away either.
yeah.
Um,
What do you think about the halftime performance?
I thought she did a great job. I
Right.
didn't realize that people didn't like the performance. I didn't realize it till I got on social media that people weren't like didn't love it. I mean, obviously her being pregnant, which is fantastic for her,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean that's going to limit her performing a little bit. She wasn't out there, killing dance routines, but I
Right.
didn't necessarily expect that from her. I also thought, I figured you'd touch on this a little bit, but the Super Smash Bros theme was I thought it was pretty cool. So, I didn't have a lot
Yeah,
to complain
that
about.
was when I saw those memes start generating on Twitter, I was
Yeah,
like, oh, that's hilarious.
um so I mean, yeah, what did you think? Because I thought she did a great job.
I always knew like she's an icon, she's a legend, but I guess I was sleep on how many hits and bangers she has because like when she just kept going, I was like, oh snap, I used to listen to that a lot.
Right.
Well, I used to listen to that a lot. I was like, wow, I've been sleeping.
I mean, I think we kind of forget like because she came in like when she was really young.
Mm-hmm.
She's been doing this for a long time now. Like
Yeah,
she's kind of like grown up with us at the same
right.
time. Like I think she might be a little older than I am, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
31, so I mean, we're right in the same bracket. So that's
Right.
why I was kind of like,
Yeah, that's
you know,
crazy because it seems like like you said, it's like her and Chris Brown, like they came in at such an age that you're like, oh, they gotta be old, but
right.
no, they just started when they was like 16, 17.
Yeah. So I mean, kudos to her for performing while pregnant, and then doing an announcement while you're pregnant, like to the
Mm-hmm.
world, is pretty cool too. So,
Yeah.
um, let's just get into it. I'm gonna start. I'm gonna give you my opening thoughts on the game. The Eagles did not play good defense. They did not play good defense to the level to win a Super Bowl, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think on two of the three touchdown throws that Mahomes had, guys were open by 10
Wide
yards, if
open.
not more. The communication in the secondary was atrocious for a majority of the game. I think their red zone defense was particularly bad. The
Mm-hmm.
communication, guys are simply going in motion and stopping their motion. It wasn't even anything
Yeah.
crazy. I understand that the Chiefs, Sky Moore's very fast, Kadarius Toney's very fast, but when they were running, the Eagles corners and secondary just kept going. They never even attempted to stop in the
Yeah, that
motion.
that that was bad.
So
They were legit playing like some 2K AI defense. That
it
was bad.
was, and then so two of the three touchdowns were just simple.
Yeah.
These are make your throws in your sleep, and even the one to Kelsey, he was single covered and he beat that guy, and
Yeah.
there was no help. It was a nice, Mahomes
In
putting a
fact,
nice touch on it.
all his touchdowns, I was more worried about, okay, this is so open. I hope he doesn't overshoot it.
Right, because and I mean, he didn't have to make any crazy throws
Yeah.
that are a Mahomes like, oh my god, he just
Yeah, like
threw it in a window that nobody
there
can
was
do.
there wasn't any like Mahomes magic. It was just great play
And
calls.
like so, um, you know, the defense from the Eagles was the thing that I took. Obviously, it had been mentioned by you and other people that their secondary was suspect, but
Yeah.
I think there's a different level of being suspect, like poor, coverage while you're still actually covering the guy. The Chiefs just had guys running open.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a different level of poor defense.
Yeah.
Um,
It was a mix of just terrible communication and
yeah,
like Andy Reid in that red zone. He's just a
yeah.
mastermind.
I mean, they were great in the red zone. I believe the Chiefs were 4 of 5 in the red zone, and the Eagles were 3 of 5.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, there's a difference in pretty much the difference in the game right there. That to me was the deciding factor right there. I mean, I understand we're going to get into, We'll get into the call a little bit. Obviously, they didn't play Super Bowl defense, so
Yeah.
that's going to be a majority of the issue. What did you think about what was the deciding factor? Was it the Eagles secondary that pretty much decided it?
Yeah, it was definitely secondary. Like I alluded to last week that their numbers only looked great because they were playing like bottom 10, bottom 15 quarterbacks. But even as much faith if I had in the Chiefs offense, I didn't expect them to just dissect them like that. Like the yards totals weren't high, but like it was the efficiency. Like even like the running backs, like the Pacheco's were in full effect. Like he had a great game. And Mahomes to miss one pass in the second half, like yeah the guy is great, but you got to make somebody miss more than one pass.
And and like to piggyback off that, they didn't make it hard for Mahomes.
Yeah,
in my opinion, to make these passes. Like, yeah, he can make every throw no matter what, but like they weren't really, I just don't feel like they made the Chiefs work in the second half.
Like you know me, I'm a gasser to be extra, but there was no plays where I'm like only Pat can do that.
Right. And I think and that, I'm gonna unfortunately try to use that against you here in a little bit, but so let's get into it. We talked about it briefly last night. I know people don't want to blame the officiating, but when everybody sees something and has kind of a universal thought on, hey, let's not call that in the biggest moment of the game, when there was not a penalty called in the secondary on either team.
Yeah.
It was a relatively clean game. The Eagles had a couple more penalties. I don't even think any of the penalties besides the last one were one-sided or anything. It just felt like, unfortunately, it was, boom, perfect timing. And the problem was it really changed the game in terms of time more than anything, because the Chiefs were still going to kick a field goal on the next play and be up 3. But we lost the opportunity to see if Hurts could make that minute and 30 drive under 2 minutes, take him down the field to win the biggest game of his career. And I think that's more of what I take the issue with is Chiefs can win the Super Bowl. That's fantastic. They're all-time great. They're a borderline dynasty. But I would like to see Hurts with an opportunity to beat that dynasty without having something outside happen. Bradbury said he tugged on him. Man, if that's a tug in a big game, yeah, you might have held, but like that's a really big play where you're I don't know. I just didn't love it. I think it just felt like it was very nice timing, but that doesn't change the fact that the Eagles or the Chiefs were going to get 3 points. So I just want to touch on that. I thought, it gave me a little bit of the Cincy flashbacks, not to the same level, in my opinion. I thought both teams really played a good game overall, besides obviously the Eagles secondary, which was suspect. So what did you think? I mean, Bradbury said he held, but at the same time, grabbing a jersey to that extent was like maybe like the most rudimentary level of that call. So, let's get it out there.
I understand like the notion that if it's a foul in the first quarter, it's a foul in the fourth quarter. Like you're not supposed to ref time and score, but I'm not gonna lie, to call it there is cheese. I understand it. In the words of Kraken, obey the rules. Like he did hold him. Like it is a foul, it's a penalty, but
it was very small.
And I think what also hurt is that was third down. If it was first,
it's different. If it's like a change of possession penalty, like it, not obviously, like I said, the Chiefs are kicking a field goal either way there, but you get the 4 more downs and then you get the more time. I don't think the officials called a bad game either.
Yeah, I think it was more so the time and down is why people was mad. Like if that was called like the first play of that drive that started at the 5-minute mark, they're like, okay, you didn't call it all game, but whatever. But I think it's the fact that it was like that much time left on third down. The pass wasn't going to be completed, but
that's where people have an issue, because it feels like timely penalties do happen for them. Like I said, I'm not going to get into it. I thought the Chiefs overall, I thought they played a better game in all 3 phases. Let's get into it. Mahomes versus Hurts.
Hey, maybe the call that Brady gave Mahomes, he's like, yo, bro, if you need a clutch call, this is what you do. And that's exactly what Patrick did, man. It's just, I'm a Jets fan. So I've been watching Brady for like over 15 years. That's some Brady Black magic, and it just worked out for Patrick.
Let's get into. I thought Jalen Hurts really proved
he.
So I got the stats here. We'll get into more of the team game here in a minute. Mahomes versus Hurts. I know I saw some of your. I thought Hurts outplayed him. I don't think it was like some kind of drastic change the world outplayed him, but I thought in a game where Hurts is playing against the best quarterback in the league, he's his throwing's been suspect sometimes. Right. There's a reason people hammer under 245 on his yards every week. He came out 27 of 38 for 304 and a TD. He had 8 yards of completion.
Yeah, he was throwing some bombs.
I mean, he put it on guys and added, the 70 yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground. Yeah. The guy, 4 touchdown game. I thought, he edged out Mahomes very slightly for, who the better quarterback that night.
Honestly, I thought that they were throwing it deep early as a mind game to show, okay, his shoulder's not hurt. He's throwing it deep, back up a bit so they could run the football, but they just never established.
I mean, besides him, the run game was non-existent. I mean, Hurts did a great job scrambling and picking up yards. I'm surprised how poorly the Eagles ran the ball with their O-line. Obviously, their pass protection was very, very strong, but they did not help themselves at all. They ran clock based on Hurts' feet and his arm more than anything.
That was some insane true clock. And going into that, I understand, like, if people were to say Hurts played a better game, like, I wouldn't even argue too much against it. It's like when they try to say, oh, he outplayed it, like it wasn't close and that he should have got the MVP. Like, I think that's a bit because, like, his volume numbers were much bigger, but that's because they had, like, the ball for, like, 10, 11 more minutes. Like, and especially in the second half, when the Chiefs had the ball, they were very efficient. It's just that, like, they didn't have it a lot. So, yeah, I'm not saying like, oh, Mahomes like had like an A and Hurts had a B. No, I think it's very close. I'm
not trying to say that Hurts, like I said, changed the world last night. I just thought in a very close game, I thought he very slight did a little bit more. Mahomes still solid, very solid completion percentage. Only threw for 182, which was surprising to me.
Right.
He did have the 3 touchdowns, which we hit on because, if you were Sky Moore and I was Mahomes, we're making those same plays. They're not, we're making those throws. He had a nice 44 yards on the ground. Like you mentioned on Twitter, his scrambling is timely.
And, he just saves it for big moments.
The big scramble late to save them from a long field goal that turns into a touchdown. It's just he makes the winning plays. If the ref doesn't throw the flag, Mahomes will make a run to save you anyway. So
but also that QB power is so cheap. Not the QB power. That quarterback sneak is so cheese. Like if it's 3rd and 2 or 4th and 2, I'm just like new set of downs. Like,
are you talking about the Philly? Like almost
the
like it's almost victory formation for them. But they turned it into a quick QB run.
I don't know like if they're going to change it because what would they say? It's cheese at this point.
Yeah, but they already changed the rule from where you couldn't push them to now where you can. So I don't think they're going to ever change it back.
Oh, I didn't know you couldn't before.
So like for reference, in like back in early 2000s, USC did the push play and it was supposed to be called and it didn't get called and it cost Texas or cost somebody a national championship against them. But like you used to not be able to push the quarterback in the pile like that.
Yeah, like I understand if like the running back is doing it or if you're in the I and you do it, but to go and straight up like victory formation and have like 3 people, I think that's a bit OD.
It's pretty wild, but let's see. Football, 3 phases of the game. You got your special teams, defense, offense. Advantage Chiefs defense. They got the defensive touchdown. Kansas City special teams, long kick return to set them up in the 5-yard line for an easy touchdown. Obviously, Kadarius Toney had a nice play, but the over pursuit by the special teams on the Eagles, they just overcommitted to that side so drastically.
Yeah, when he flipped field, there was like nobody over there,
and it's just you can't have that in the biggest game of your season. And then obviously, I think KC's offense and the Eagles' offense were pretty much similar. I thought they both did a good job. Like I said, slight advantage hurts. Chiefs obviously ran the ball better overall. Pacheco, I think he really set the tone for the game.
Yeah, he definitely did.
15 carries for 76 yards and a touchdown.
It's like the Chiefs running backs wait to the Super Bowl to have good games.
Yeah, I mean, it's just – and McKinnon made some timely plays also.
Yeah.
He had that nice run to end the game pretty much where he could have scored, obviously, and he went out on the half yard.
I was screaming at him to get down.
Yeah, it was they just, their run game really picked up where Mahomes wasn't getting the yards, obviously, as he usually does. Their running game really picked it up when they needed it most, and I thought that was impressive for the Chiefs. So overall, the Chiefs won pretty much 2 phases of the game that gave them 14 easy points.
Right.
And that's the difference in the game. I mean, if you look at it, Eagles led time of possession 35 minutes to 23. That's insane to lose a football game like that.
Especially in the first half. Like I was watching it with my family, then I was like, yo, it's almost halftime, and I feel like we barely saw Mahomes.
Well, if you look at if you want to discuss the first half, it was 24-7 pretty much without that Eagles fumble for the touchdown that Bolden took back. I mean, that game's completely different if they don't get that scoop and score.
Oh, speaking of that, that field.
Oh,
that field.
That's another thing is how do you make a decision to try something new in terms of your field when this is the biggest game of the year? You don't take risks in the biggest game of the year.
I was so scared that Mahomes was going to throw a pass like Kelsey. Kelsey was going to slip and now the DB was going to catch a pick.
I thought the field looked good, obviously, before they started playing. It was really nice layout and everything. Yeah. But once you get out there and you're trying to run around on those painted sections, you could just see the guys were struggling to keep their footing. And I just find that crazy.
Well, I think it was Olsen who, when Bucker had the game winning kick, he was kicking it on the paint. He was like, yo, what if he flips and it goes to overtime?
I didn't really understand that either. Just weird decisions for the Super Bowl, Total yards, the Eagles outgained the Chiefs 417-340.
Right.
First downs, the Eagles had 25-21. We touched on it a little bit earlier. The Chiefs were more efficient in the red zone, 4 of 5 to 3 of 5. I mean, if you looked based on the numbers, strictly numbers, you'd think that the Eagles won the game. I mean, it's just it's weird how games like that can happen, where numbers point to one thing and the results are something else.
Yeah. Is Hurts top 5 for you now?
No.
Oh. I'm all right. So let me see. I'll just name a few. Is he above Herbert?
No.
Oh, you don't think he's above Herbert?
I just think that Herbert's still based on just arm talent. Hurts somewhat makes up for that with his rushing ability and everything, and he really put on a show rushing or running the ball. I would probably rather have Herbert to start a franchise today. Who else do you got?
I'm all right. So I'm assuming the top 3 is Allen Mahomes, bro. That's everybody's top 3.
Yeah, I wouldn't take Hurt over any of those guys yet.
Lawrence.
I would take Hurt over Lawrence. Hurts, sorry. I would take Hurts over Lawrence.
All right, that Dak's not a debate. Rodgers, no. I'm assuming not a debate.
Not anymore, no. Unless he's a Jet.
Lamar.
That one's hard because I don't think Lamar is really good. I think we'd have to dive into their health.
Yeah.
Because if Hurts can continue to throw the ball the way he did last night, I think you have a legitimate argument that he could be a safer version of Lamar.
Right.
But that I'm not trying to take away from Lamar. I think he's still uber talented. It's just the health has been a continuous factor. I know Hurts has been hurt a little bit, but I'm not trying to – I don't know. So I think those guys are close. I'm going to lean Lamar for now. I would like to see more of Hurts throwing because we've seen Lamar throw for, 6 years now? So I think it's close. You got anybody else that's close to the top 10 that you think?
Tua.
I would take Hurts over Tua easily, yeah. And could you imagine Hurts with those two speedsters?
That'd be just
throwing the ball downfield. He throws I think he throws a better deep ball than Tua, in my opinion.
Yeah. I can only probably think of like 2 left. I wish Watson played more because I do think that would be a good one, but we only saw like 6 games.
Yeah, as of now, it's Hurts over Watson just
And
because.
in
And then
the NFC, I can't. That
I would take him over Brock Purdy.
yeah, Brock.
Yeah, I mean, I think he did a lot for his value in that game. I would probably say he's not top 5, but I would say he's comfortably in the top 10 right now.
Right.
He's such a threat to run the ball, to throw the ball right now that and this is based off one game. Obviously, next year we got to see if it's going to continue, if they're going to give him more throws, things like that. But he had a really great game. So Mahomes obviously stays number 1. Not surprised. Give it to us, man. I mean, give us a little Mahomes celebration. I mean, the guy got it done when it mattered most. So
I'm just glad that now there's just no debate about who QB1 is. Yeah. And like it's so crazy that this early into his career, like it's no longer him versus peers. Like it's him, and there are debates about him, Montana, and him, Peyton. Obviously, Brady's still the click number 1, but there are people saying like Mahomes, me included, that like he's definitely like a top 5 quarterback of all time already, and it's
crazy that he's in that company already.
To do this like after losing your wide receiver 1 and like your best like true wide receiver is either like Cole or Juju. To make the Super Bowl with a roster, not the roster. The roster's really good with wide receiver with outs like that. Besides Kelsey, that's just MVP.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, I'm not going to subscribe to the theory that they were just not relevant to being in the Super Bowl like some people are trying to pass along recently. But I mean, yeah, it's really impressive. I thought this was the year that Allen or Burrow could take him down again, and he proved again why he's the best.
Yeah, there's just something about him when he's down. It just doesn't matter. Like his winning percentage when trailing by more than 10 points is like north of 70%. That's insane.
Yeah, I mean it's just, and then I think this also does a lot for Andy Reid as a coach. 2 Super Bowls with with the Chiefs. Obviously made the Super Bowl with Philly. He's starting to get up there with some of the all-time greats himself, which is really great because that guy's been through a lot. He's had a hell of a career. Chiefs are a modern-day dynasty. I'm ready to say it.
Yeah, definitely.
I think they earned it last night.
Yeah, 2 rings, and when you're not winning a ring, you're making a championship game and losing on the last play.
Yeah.
That's just insane.
Do you think they cut Butker next year?
I would think you have to. Like, not everybody has to be Tucker or like Gotkowski, but you can't just be that.
Yeah,
even one of the point afters he barely made.
Right. I don't know. Maybe if it's just, I don't know. He missed some clutch kicks this year that were surprising. Yeah. So I don't know if maybe one more year or something. But I think
Chiefs got to use one of their picks. Like I know they have a lot of draft picks. Send like a first and a third for Tucker. He'll be fine.
There's just no way the Ravens would ever accept that. All right, let's see. We talked about halftime. We talked about Super Bowl. We were in depth. We talked Hurts. We talked Mahomes.
I know it's way too early because not the draft and free agency didn't happen. But can you see the Eagles being back?
If they're able to keep the team. I don't know their contract situations off the top of my head, obviously. If they can go out, maybe sign another, another secondary member. I think Gardner Johnson, their safety, is very good. I think Bradbury's good. Slay's good. I don't know if something just needs to change in that secondary.
Right.
They just got to get a little bit better. I think the Eagles are good enough to compete for an NFC title again next year. I don't see why they wouldn't. If anything, maybe get a little more explosive out of their backfield with Sanders instead of Sanders, go a different route there. But there's not really a lot of need on their offense at this moment.
Yeah, their offense
obviously the defense is close. It just needs to be improved just ever so slightly. And then obviously I think the Chiefs are going to battle the Bengals and again next year. I think it's going to be similar. Chargers will probably be a little bit better again. We're probably going to hear the same Chargers stuff again next year. But I would say Chiefs 1, Bengals 2, and then we'll figure out the rest going forward. And then, the Eagles are probably the favorite to win the NFC, and I'd say the 49ers are going to be right behind them again.
Mm-hmm.
So, going into next year, those are probably my four top teams right there. Chiefs, Bengals, Eagles, 49ers, in no order besides the Chiefs at 1. Well, let's see. Are you putting in your futures bet for the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl again next year already?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think from one of the sites I saw, it was like plus 500. Put something on that. Maybe 20, just like as an early, then later on down and closer.
Gotcha. All right, man. Well, hey, I wanted to get on and get in here early and get our Super Bowl recap out to all the fans. We're doing a lot better on Twitter or on YouTube recently. We're up to 70 subscribers.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting more content out with our shorts and our betting and our recaps, breakdowns. We're doing a lot of content recently, and it's really helped out. Twitter's growing. Instagram's doing pretty good. I think social media, we're doing pretty well, man.
Right.
But I think we come back on Friday, maybe do a short NBA podcast. And then,
that'll be pretty all-star game.
And then, are you giving us a Kenzie's Corner this week?
I don't know if I should go to the Brady watch out route or just like this Mahomes praise route. I'll figure that out.
Yeah, I mean, just want to, so we'll have a Kenzie's Corner this week. We'll have bets throughout the week. Just want to say thank you guys for listening and tuning in. Hell of a Super Bowl, competitive game. Kenzie, anything else to add?
Just refer to him as Patrick MAGOATBOY.
That's a terrible name. I hope you know that.
MAGOATBOy.
Terrible name.
It flows.
There's got to be something better out there for fans to give. Like, there's just got to be something better. It's just terrible. But he's earned it, so I can't say too much. Good game. Great win for the Chiefs. Kenzie, let's get out of here, man. We'll see you guys on Friday.
Yep, see you.